welcome to episode 2 of Big Motors Radio. This is a Simon's Trucking podcast. I am Abby. I am the employment specialist here at Simon's Trucking. And once again, I am joined by
Lexi, safety. So last week we spoke to RJ, and that was regarding kind of industry and industry changes as far as how everything's been going recently. We also talked to some drivers that time too and had some fun conversations.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we can kind of keep up to those standards that RJ had, but that'll be fun a little bit later.
We'll see what we can come up with. We'll see.
But this particular episode is going to be talking about fuel efficiencies, and Abby and Jim is going to have a conversation today.
Yep, we're going to be joined by one of our drivers, Jim Elliott, and we'll pick his brain about fuel efficiencies and just kind of how that affects our day-to-day in the real world, but also as a company.
Perfect.
Are you in need of dependable, efficient, and safe transportation for your goods? Look no further. With van, refrigerated, hopper, belt, and tanker transportation, as well as warehousing and cross-docking, Simon's Trucking's mission is to operate with pride, professionalism, to provide our customers with exceptional performance.
Welcome back. This is Jim Elliott. Jim, I know who you are, but our viewers and listeners don't. So why don't you introduce yourself, who you are, how long you've been with Simon's, and how long you've been in the industry in general.
Well, I'm Jim Elliott. I've been with Simon's years ago. I was with them for 10 years, and now I've been with them for 5 years, so 15 years in total. I've been in the trucking industry been driving since 1965, which is 59 years ago.
So you're still out there in the thick of things then?
I am. Yes.
You are. So we know that in general, a semi-truck isn't going to be as fuel efficient as a day-to-day personal vehicle that we all drive. But let's try to help our viewers kind of understand why that is. So like each truck has different capabilities when it comes to, say, miles per gallon. I think the national average right now is like 5 to 8 miles per gallon when it comes to a semi-truck out there. Where does Simon's currently fall within that fuel efficiency?
Well, last year in 2023, the whole fleet did 5.81.
But what other factors can come into effect and come into play when it comes to fuel efficiency and miles per gallon?
Well, the idle time is big.
Okay.
And there are the speed should drive as slow as is practical. You don't want to be a hazard to traffic by going too slow.
Okay.
But high speeds definitely deteriorate the miles per gallon.
I did look into that, and it did say something that I read online was that just traveling at 75 miles per hour versus 65 miles per hour can actually increase your fuel consumption by 27%. So,
well, if you travel 700 miles and burn 100 gallons, that's 7 miles a gallon.
Yep.
And if you travel 700 miles and burn 127 gallons, that's 5.51. So that is a big difference. And from my experience, I would say that is
pretty
accurate.
Consistent. So what are some other ways? I know you had said something about idle trends. I believe that here at Simon's, our average is a gallon of fuel every hour that we have. And statistics on the internet also state that each gallon of fuel burned while idling will emit 20 pounds of carbon dioxide. So in a sense, if we bring down that idle time, we're reducing our carbon footprint and then helping just the environment as well. What are some things that we can do or our drivers could maybe put into place to help reduce that idle time?
Well, shut the engine off, of course, and when most of our idle time is sleeping.
Okay.
And we certainly want our drivers to be comfortable when they're sleeping and get their best rest.
Absolutely.
But you can do certain things. We have SPAR heaters in all the trucks.
Okay.
That helps in the wintertime. That's a definite help. In the summertime, there are different strategies. You can cool the truck down before you shut it off and get by for 2 or 3 hours sometimes. You can park where you're not, during the daytime that you're not exposed to the sun. You can have your back to the sun.
Okay.
You can roll your windows down a little bit and get a breeze, and sleep as much at night as possible.
Yeah.
Nobody sleeps very good in the daytime.
Very true, very true. But we do have guys that prefer to run at night, so I understand that, sleeping during the day. Another thing that we noticed just here in the office is, they'll come in to turn their paperwork in and end up being in here for 25 minutes or so, just shooting the breeze and with the engine on. So just being aware and being conscious that, hey, I might be more than 5 minutes, and just shut that truck off and save that a little bit, because even 30 minutes of idle time can help us save.
Well, a lot of my idle time occurs when I'm switching trailers.
Oh, okay.
And you have to keep the engine idling to have the air pressure build up to a certain point, because with an automated manual, you can't shift gears unless the air pressure is above 100 pounds in most cases.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So that is where most of my idle time occurs, is switching trailers.
Okay, well, that's good to know. And that's something you can't prevent, though.
No, you cannot.
Absolutely.
You're listening to Big Motors Radio, presented by Simon's Trucking.
What are some other ways that we can improve and be aware of that fuel efficiency or save fuel? I know we talked speed and keep speed down, but what are some other things other than speed and idling that we could maybe put into play?
By keeping the engine RPMs low.
Okay, and how would you recommend, like for newer drivers that may be coming into the industry, or for someone like me that doesn't know a whole lot about how those semis work out on the road? How does one keep those RPMs down?
I keep the RPMs as low as I can, keeping my speed down, and I drive, select a gear. I've got an automated manual now, and I put it in manual mode, and I keep it in a gear where I'm turning 11 to 1200 RPMs. That might sound slow to a lot of people, but with today's engines, that's right they produce their torque, maximum torque under 1000 RPM. So 11 or 1200, I would pull Sherman or Cabbage or Snowshoe at 1150 or 1200 and not think anything of it.
Okay.
Whereas in years past, that would have been unthinkable.
Okay.
But today's engines tolerate it very, very well, and you can go by the seat of your pants what it feels like.
So on top of keeping RPMs down and things, another statistic or thing that I read was that even in personal vehicles, watching how you accelerate and decelerate. So if you're stomping on that gas pedal, that's going to use more fuel because you're turning a higher RPM and you're making that engine work harder. So that's going to increase that fuel consumption.
You want to play the stoplights if you can. There's no sense in speeding up to stop at a stoplight and then accelerate to the next stoplight and stop, when you can just glide through very, very, very smoothly.
Glide through. Get that miles per gallon up as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
That's great advice. So, Jim, in your opinion, what could we save if we were to increase that fuel mileage or that fuel efficiency here at Simon's?
Well, fleet-wide, if we were to go from 5.81 miles per gallon to 6.31 miles a gallon, that would be an improvement of 1/2 mile per gallon.
Okay.
That would amount in our particular fleet to over $10,000 per week.
Really?
Yes.
So just by saving 1/2 mile a gallon, we could save over $10,000 in fuel a week.
Per week, yeah.
Wow, that's insane. That's great to know. So it really does pay to watch your speed, to watch your idle time, and just to be conscious and aware of what you're doing out there on the road.
If everybody could reduce their cruise speed by 3 miles per hour, it would probably lead to that.
Really? Just 3 miles an hour?
In my opinion, yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's great information to know.
And usually you're not that close on time. You usually got time to slow up a little bit.
Okay.
At least I do.
Here at Simon's Trucking, all of our trucks are 2020 and newer, and we pride ourselves on having some of the best equipment on the road today. Interested in working for us? Call Simon's today at 888-676-1525 or visit simonstrucking.com.
So now we're just going to ask Jim a few random questions that in a moment here we're going to call our Cornfield Convoy and ask them their opinions as well. But Jim, if you were famous, what would you be famous for?
You put me on a spot.
I am putting you on a spot.
I don't think I'll ever be famous, but what would I like to be famous for?
Yeah, what would you like to be famous for then?
Just being a nice guy.
A nice person?
Yeah.
You're a nice person already.
Well,
I think you got that covered.
Appreciate that.
If you had to swap your legs with the legs of any other animal, what would you choose?
Oh, a deer.
A deer.
So I could run fast, yeah.
Okay, I like it. Would you rather cook like a gourmet chef or sing like a rock star?
Oh, sing like a rock star.
Me too. Me too.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for spending time with us today, Jim. I appreciate it very much. I'm sure you're probably about ready to go either visit some customers or get out on that road. So I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming in. And Jim Elliott, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks again to Jim Elliott for joining us today and talking about fuel efficiencies and things on the road. But I think now it's time to check in with that Cornfield Convoy. What do you think, Lexi?
Oh boy.
Who should we call first?
I'm thinking we should go with Mel. Let's call Mel first.
Let's call Mel.
Grandma
All right.
Mel.
See if what Mel's doing.
All right. So she's going to be a little surprised we're calling her.
She's going to wonder what she did wrong.
Probably.
Hello.
Hi, Miss Melly.
Hey,
How are ya?
that's fine.
Do you have a few minutes to chat?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I don't know if you've seen it yet, but we started a new podcast. And I actually have you on speakerphone right now.
Hi, Mel.
And it's just Abby and I and our camera.
Okay.
Thought we would ask you a few questions. Some are fun, but I do have one serious question. I'd like to ask you your opinion on what driver parking is like right now. If you could briefly talk to me about what you're experiencing on the road. I think the viewers would like to kind of see or hear what everybody's experiencing right now.
Sure. A lot of it depends on if you have a hazmat load. According to hazmat, you can't, park on a get on ramp or get off ramp. Sometimes that's your only choice. Then you have to go on to the next place, and then you can't find a parking spot there either. There's times that I've had to go over a half hour just to find a parking space because there is none. You get into a truck stop and, they're parked every which way. I mean, they're even parked. Some of them will park on the fuel island and refuse to leave because there's no parking.
Oh, wow.
As I'm speaking right now, some Walmarts let you park there, which is a blessing because you also can go in and get your stuff that you need, but yet you can park there. That is one big blessing. But like right now in Salina, I'm on an off-road offset from Walmart because when I got here, Walmart was full. And so you set out here like basically a sitting duck.
Oh, no.
You're sitting here by yourself and no lights, no nothing. But it's a real trial and error. You get more out west, and depends on if the roads are bad. If the roads are bad, then yes, it's kind of hard to find a place. But you go anywhere from Nebraska has terrible rest areas to park at. They try to make sure that everybody gets into a truck stop so they can spend their money, basically. But anywhere from Nebraska east, and you go down to Florida, there's absolutely no parking in Florida, none. And I mean, they talked about that on the trucking side of the radio, to try to get more parking down there and stuff. And then so when you can't find parking, it's basically whether it's hazmat or non-hazmat, doesn't matter.
Right.
When you get to your places, it's hard to find parking, and people don't want to take loads there because they know that they got to stop so they don't get in trouble with their e-log. And if you can't find a place to park, then if shippers and receivers won't let you park there, then therefore it's just hard. It's everywhere. You cannot find a place to park. So
Do you find like a specific time of day where it's like if you're not parked, you're shit out of luck, for lack of
Yes.
better words?
Yes, yes. You are out of luck if you're not parked, especially any time that you're going into a big city. If you're not parked by say 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it used to be a good rule of thumb if you was parked by 5.
Yeah.
Okay, usually 5, but it's not that way anymore because just the way the e-log stuff is.
Right.
I cannot tell you really the reason, the concept of what the difference is between the e-log and just when we run paper logs, because a lot of times when you had a paper log, you could always find a place to park. Okay, but I think on the flip side of that is people have in their back of their head, including myself, that okay, if they want us to work like normal human beings, then we're going to go to bed like normal human beings.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah, sure.
so you get up and work at my perfect day is get up and go to work at 6, while there's still a little bit of traffic in, and then go to bed early, because then you can hopefully find a place to park. But everybody's that way. You know, it's not it's just not me. But yeah, it's a and really, to be right truthful with you, being a woman, then that's just adds to the next thing. It's like I don't ever put fuel on where I'm going to go to sleep. Okay, so it all factors into different scenarios on who you are, what you are, where you're running, you know, what size of equipment you got, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
And some of the scenarios aren't very good. I mean, you know, you try to park where there's somebody else parking, but it's like pulling into a rest area. If nobody else is parked there, someone's got to be the first one. I get it. But if there's nobody at that rest area, I don't pull in and go to the bathroom. Okay. And because you got to be safe also. You got to constantly, it's terrible to admit, but there is more thinking that goes into driving a truck more than driving the truck. Okay.
Yeah.
You got a calculator in your head, and you're trying to figure out, where am I going to stop tonight? How many miles am I going to get? Wonder what Austin, Texas is going to be like. You got all these thoughts, and you're not even going down the road. I mean, what I'm saying is you're going down the road, but you're not. It's hard to pay attention to what you're doing if you're any kind of a driver, and to know that you're not constantly figuring on how things are going to work and how they're going to affect you by the end of this day.
Right. You're preparing throughout your day for that final
yes.
stop.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that, Mel. That was very informative. I do appreciate that. Abby has a few fun questions for you, and then we'll let you be on your way.
Okay,
All right, Miss Mel, if you were famous for something, what would you be famous for?
If I was famous, I would be famous for to have enough money. Lots of money. I'd love to have lots and lots of money. I mean, we're talking
Throwaway money?
Yeah, throwaway money, but I would love to hand out money to people that need it, people that deserve it.
So, would you rather cook like a gourmet chef or sing like a rock star?
Oh, that would probably have to sing like a rock star.
Same, girl, same.
Pretty much eat the same stuff. I do all my cooking on Sunday mornings when I'm at home, and I always make 2 batches, one for the next time I come home or whatever. So, I'm no skinny mini either. So there you go. I must eat like a gourmet cook.
There you go. Oh my gosh. Love it. We have 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm kind of scared for the answer on this one. But if you were invisible for the day, what would you do first?
What would I do first?
Yeah.
Oh man, I would find every one of my enemies, and I'd like to say, why are you the type of person that you are? Okay. So if I'm invisible, if I'm invisible, then I would try to walk in their steps to see what kind of people that they are. Why are you the way you are? Meaning, why are you crabby? Why are you distinct? Why are you shy? What a million different scenarios. But I'd like to walk in somebody else's shoes for the day, being invisible.
I like it. All right, last question for you, Mel.
Okay.
If we were trapped in a horror story, who would die first? Me, Lexi, or you? Be honest.
Oh, but you have to understand the questions that I've always already asked is the reason I would say this. Number one, I'm a grandma. Number two, you guys aren't grandmas yet. And I would say, who's ever the oldest of you guys, but try to say both of you naturally. But if you can only come up with one, I would probably, whichever one of you are the youngest, whether it's you or Lexi, whichever one of you is the youngest, the other two would have to go, because hopefully that someday then you can carry on the tradition of being a grandma.
I like it.
I like
I love it. Well, thank you. Hey, you have a good day. We'll let you go. We appreciate you letting us pick your brain.
No problem, girls.
Have a beautiful day, Mel.
You too, hon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're listening to Big Motors Radio, presented by Simon's Trucking.
So that was a really fun conversation with
It
Mel.
was a great conversation with Mel. So who should we call next? Check in with.
How about someone that we don't see very often?
Okay, who you
We're going to
thinking?
call Mark. Tennessee Mark.
I like it. Tennessee
Yeah.
Mark. Let's see if we can get him on the line.
Let's see if he'll...
We'll see what he has to say today.
I'd like you to talk and see if he even
Knows who I am.
notices the voices at all.
Because we're calling from your phone.
Hello.
Hey, Mark. How you doing?
Good. How you doing, Beth?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks. Hey, I don't know if you saw it or not, but Lexi and I started Big Motors podcast a little while ago here at Simon's. And if you watched it at all, we did with RJ, we did some check-ins with our drivers out in the field to see what was going on. Sorry.
Yeah. I saw a chicken one. Yeah.
So, yeah. So you're our next victim.
Oh, Jesus. You sure y'all want me on that?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So you are on speaker with myself. This is Abby and Lexi. We're actually going to start on a serious note, though. Just curious if you could tell us about what you're experiencing out on the road currently when it comes to parking. We know it's kind of getting a little crazy out there, but what do you see on your day-to-day when it comes to like parking at rest stops or truck stops or anything like that?
Really tough. I mean, down where I'm at in the South, it's pretty bad. I think if you can't get somewhere a lot of times by, say, 5 o'clock, it's very slim pickings. I mean, a lot of times, I'm working overnights and, even trying to get fuel, you can barely get in and out of these truck stops at night. I mean, guys are parking everywhere. The rest areas they're on the on-ramps, front and the exit ramps, all the way out on the road. It's really pretty sad. If they try it here, like say in Georgia, where I'm at right now, just north of Atlanta, they're ticketing people right now.
Oh, wow.
For parking on ramps. Pretty sad.
Okay.
I know out west it's a lot better, but here in these, congested areas, like say in the South, they forget about it.
Yeah, that's the consensus. Mel said pretty well the same thing. Like when you get to those congested areas, it's really tough.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, we have, even the rest area, like say north of Atlanta, I mean, they're literally be out in the middle of 75 parked on the ramps.
Oh,
it's
wow.
pretty bad.
Crazy.
And on a safety standard, you're probably not getting much sleep because you're in an area where you're exposed.
Oh, yeah, you're nervous. I mean, if you have to park on a ramp, yeah, you're a little nervous. Even in parking in the truck stops, I mean, it's bad. I can barely get into some of these just to get fuel.
Wow.
I mean, guys are just parking anywhere. I mean, they're going 3 or 4 wide, and it's one truck in, one truck out at night.
Oh,
I mean, there's no space. They just park everywhere.
Fair. That's fair. Well, on a less serious note, I got some interesting questions for you here as well. If you were famous, what would you be famous for?
Oh God, probably my mouth.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
Fair.
Yeah. Probably my mouth. Yeah. Never know what comes out of it from time to time.
That's okay. Got to keep things interesting.
All right. Yeah, you never know with me.
Would you rather cook like a gourmet chef or sing like a rock star?
Oh, sing like a rock star in the kitchen. Don't work. Yeah, I can't boil water, so I'd rather have a better chance of singing.
Okay, well, how about this? If you were invisible for the day, what would the first thing that you would do? What would you do first?
Oh, I'd just go rob the Federal Reserve. That'd be the end of that, you know.
Oh, he's just kidding. He's just kidding.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'd be done.
All right, one final question. If you were trapped in a horror story with Abby, myself, and you, who would die first?
Oh, God.
Be honest.
I'm going to say Abby and then me, because Lexi, even though she's small, little, she's the scariest one to me. I'm probably more scared of Lexi. And I told her before, I'm more scared of her than RJ or anybody else.
Okay, I mean, fair. Does that mean I'm
Yeah.
doing something right, or am I just intimidating?
You're intimidating. I mean, it's like 5'0" I'm scared to death of you. You know? I think we're going down really quick.
Oh, I definitely would be the first one out. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just gonna hope I can run faster than you is all it is.
You don't have to worry about that. I trip over my own feet.
Right.
Oh, man. Well, Mark, it was awesome talking to you. Appreciate you talking to us on the fly like this.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
Glad to go.
Hopefully we'll catch you again in a future episode.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you very much. You have a great day, okay?
Y'all too. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you later.
All right. See you.
All right, we'll do one more. Who should we go for?
Oh.
Tim.
Okay.
Tim's our local. Well, he works over the road, but he lives in Dubuque here. And we don't see him a whole lot.
No, actually, we don't.
So it'd be great to catch up with him. I'll let you take this one.
Oh, boy. Hey, Tim, how's it going?
I'm doing all right. Just traveling on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, headed to Salina, after I got loaded. So what's up?
I was just calling to see if you had a few moments that we could chat with you. It's episode number 2 of our Big Motors podcast. And last time we checked in with some of y'all, and we thought today we'd check in with you.
Okay, I will do my best to represent you well.
I appreciate that. So this is actually Abby, and
Okay.
you're on speaker with Lexi as well.
Okay, Abby, Lexi, hello?
Hello. So let's start. I'm going to start with a serious question, and then we're going to get into some fun ones, okay?
Okay.
Alrighty. So we know, yes, you're a local guy here to us, but you are an over-the-road driver. What are you experiencing out on the road when it comes to parking situations?
The later you drive, the harder it is to find a parking spot. But my route that I'm on, I'm stopping on Saturday night when probably a lot of truck drivers are home.
Okay.
And then when I get to my destination for delivery, they have overnight parking available inside a gated fenced area, or I get fortunate to travel up to Lampeter and there's overnight parking at that facility for me.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's nice. So you're one of the lucky ones out there, then, it sounds like.
Pretty much, yes, I am. Except when I get into Illinois later at night near Marshall, Illinois, that information rest area there is full, so I have to go to exit 136. There's a little fuel stop there that seems to have a spot, usually 2 or 3 available when it's later at night.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good. Very good. If you had to swap your legs with the legs of any other animal, what would it be?
Legs of another animal?
Yeah.
Probably a cheetah.
Okay.
Ooh.
So you could run fast?
Yeah, so I can get away from you two girls. Stay out of trouble.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Would you rather cook like a gourmet chef or sing like a rock star?
That's a hard one. I would probably say sing like a rock star because I got a good cook at home already, so I don't have to worry about that.
Oh, love it. So cute.
Okay, if you were invisible for the day, what would you do first?
I'd haunt Simon's trucking office.
Rude. Okay.
Uh-huh.
One last question, and I want you to be brutally honest. If you were trapped in a horror story with Abby, myself, and you, who would die first?
Me,
Why?
because beauty outshines the beast.
Oh, Tim. Oh, Tim.
A gentleman always will sacrifice himself for the ladies.
I love it.
I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. See, now that's a question you should ask. If you were trapped on an island with us two, which one would you rather be trapped with?
No way, man.
Huh?
No way, man. I would die. I can't be trapped on any type of island.
I'd be like Tom Hanks on Castaway with my volleyball.
Right?
Yes, yes. He was trapped with Spalding.
Oh, man. Tim, always a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks for the phone call, ladies.
Yeah.
You have a great day. Keep smiling. Keep them fun times rolling.
All right.
Be
you
safe,
too.
Tim.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that was fun.
Was great, as always. So checking in with the Cornfield Convoy, always a good time. Never know what they're gonna say.
Oh, gosh.
Never know what they're gonna say. But if you've liked what you heard today, please like and subscribe to this channel to get those notifications for the next time we do post a podcast. What are we gonna go to next time?
Oh my gosh, I have a list, but I haven't picked out what we're gonna do
know.
quite yet.
So if you have suggestions,
Exactly.
definitely drop them in the comments. We'd love to have your feedback as well as to even if it's a silly question to ask our drivers the next time or a serious conversation that we should have with someone around here. We'd appreciate the input. But until next time, have a wonderful day. And this has been Big Motors Podcast presented by Simon's Trucking. See you later.